there booktube, it's Eleanor here, and today I want to talk about some books I've picked up recently. More than maybe I should have done, but I went to the Cheltenham Literature Festival. I picked up a load there that I'd heard about through various different talks, and had a bit of a splurge, and I want to show them to you here. Also, keep watching if you want to find out the winner of my giveaway that I did in my last book haul. I will be doing the random number generator on here at the end and letting you know who the winner is. I will also put down the winner and contact them via the comment section of that last video as well. But before I start talking about the books, I want to talk about an advent calendar that I'm really excited about. I was contacted by this company, and they've got a advent calendar that they've brought out, and it's called Mr. Holmes Advent Calendar, and I just think it sounds really interesting. I'm going to link in the comments down below how you can get hold of this this calendar if you're in the UK. But I'm really excited to do it myself, and I haven't looked too much through it because I don't want to ruin it for myself. I'm going to do it over Christmas, but it looks like this on the front. And it is sort of a traditional desk type calendar, and what you have to do is 24 solve it yourself Christmas crimes. So if you turn over the front page, there is a story on the front, and then the next day you turn the page and on the back is the solution for that, which I'm not going to look at, and there is 24 leading you up to Christmas. So it's 24 short crime stories evoking the best of crime fiction to get your brain churning on a daily basis. Great fun for everyone. Can you solve the mystery faster than the world famous detective? And I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this into school, into the staff room, and I'm starting on the 1st of December. I'm going to ask the staff if they can do it with me and see if we can solve it on a daily basis. I just think this sounds like a really lovely, fun idea of maybe something to do with friends, or to share with your family, or even just to do yourself if you're a budding crime solver. So I'm really excited about this, and I'm looking forward to letting you know how I get on with it. And as I say, I'll link down below where you can get a copy if it's something that you're interested in. Okay, so let's start with some of the books that I got at Cheltenham. The first one I picked up at Cheltenham was from the first talk that I went to, and that is When the Dogs Don't Bark, A Forensic Scientist Search for the Truth by Professor Angela Gallup. Now, I don't think I've talked about this on my channel before, but it is one that I picked up specifically for the festival because I knew I was going to see Professor Angela Gallup talk, and it was a really interesting talk. She is a forensic... Now, I never get these things right. She's a forensic scientist, and I thought it was hilarious. She said she was always really into science, but she at university was studying the science of sea slugs, which I think is fascinating, but she realised there was maybe only 4 to 8 people in the whole world that would be interested in what she was doing. It wasn't very sort of imminent. There was no sort of urgency to the work that she was doing, and she wanted to reach more people and be a bit more prevalent in reaching and of people's interest, and so she decided to go into this. And this is the story of her going into forensic science, being a woman in a very male-dominated world in the beginning of this, I think in the 70s, and then she has gone on, she's set up her own forensic science labs, and I think part of what she has done is that one of the companies I know that she set up, I don't know if it's just one company she owns or more, provides looking in more scientific detail for defendants and sort of making sense of the scientific and forensic information. And she just has been involved in some really high profile cases. She was part of looking into a section or a part of Princess Diana's death, and you know, looking into whether she was pregnant at the time, and sort of a blood alcohol count, I think, of the driver. She's worked on the Stephen Lawrence case, Rachel Nichol, and the Italian banker Robert Calvi, who was found hanging under Blackfriars Bridge in London, along with many more. And I just think this sounds fascinating. It's really made me want to read it more from seeing her talk, so I can't wait to get stuck into this one, hopefully in non-fiction November. And then running along this sort of theme, I saw this one in the Waterstones book tent when we were there, and it's My Life with Murderers, Behind Bars with the World's Most Violent Men, by David Wilson, UK's leading criminologist. And I believe David Wilson was one of the first, he was the UK's youngest ever prison governor at age 29, and he spent his professional life working with violent men, and often sort of having cups of tea with prisoners, and he's been the governor. And he talks about that, and he talks about his journey from prisoner governor to expert criminologist and professor, and I just think this is going to be a really interesting look. I'm loving these books coming out. There's been so many books coming out recently of these sort of looks into jobs and professions that before have been very unknown and maybe mysterious to us. We've had nurses and doctors and barristers, and now we've got prison governors and forensic scientists, and I just think they're fascinating. So both of these are top on my non-fiction November list. Okay, so some other things that I've picked up. I picked up Asher and the Spirit Bird by Jasminda Bilan. I just think this sounds, it looks beautiful, and it sounds really interesting. It was the winner of the Times Children's Fiction Competition in 2017, and it's got that sort of magical realism feel to it. It's about a girl who lives at the foot of the Himalayas, and her father works in the city and she misses him. And then he just stops sending his wages, and a ruthless moneylender ransacks their home, and her mother talks of leaving where they're living. And this is about her making a pact with her best friend to find her father and sort of right things. But I think there's going to be some sort of magical element to it as well. The next one I picked up, I was so excited to see that she's got out a new book. It's Elisa Heathfield. If you haven't been watching this channel for very long, you may not know that Paper Butterflies by Lisa Heathfield is probably one of my all-time favourite books. I don't know if it was the right time or you know, the stars aligned, but that book had me sobbing like a baby. I couldn't stop thinking about it, and in fact I still think about it often today, and it was such a wonderful book. And unfortunately the next book, or the first book I'd read by her, Seed, just wasn't for me, and Flight of the Starling wasn't a book that I fell in love with, but I'm hoping maybe this will be the next one that I will fall in love with, and it's I Am Not a Number. And I think this is set in sort of a dystopian type world. The traditional party have been voted in, and they want to silence anyone who opposes them. 15-year-old Ruby and her family rebel, and they're taken to a prison camp. Ruby becomes known as number 276, and it's going to be their story in this prison camp. It says it's a story about friendship, first love, and finding the strength to survive. So I think this is going to be incredibly moving. I absolutely love Holly Bourne. This is one of the books that I was excited about for the rest of the year. It's The Places I've Cried in Public by Holly Bourne. And this one is about Amelie, who fell hard for Reese and thought that he loved her too, but then realises that love isn't supposed to hurt like this. And it's all about her retracing their story and visiting all the places that he made her cry. And I just think it's going to be a bit of a tearjerker. The next one I picked up is called Guts by Raina Telgemeier. I love Raina Telgemeier's sort of middle grade graphic novels. She always talks about really interesting topics. I love the artwork in these. I just think they're so cute, and I love the colour palette. And this one is about a time when Raina woke up with a terrible tummy ache, and her mum has one too, and they think it's just a bug. She returns to school, and it's about friendship. It's also about this tummy trouble that's not going away, and sort of finding out a bit more about that and about this time in Raina's life at school. And I just think she always writes sort of very autobiographically, and I really enjoy that. A Pocket Full of Stars by Isha Bushby is quite a thin book. I'm not sure how long it is. It's only just over 200 pages, and it sounds like it's a bit different for me. This one I think is mainly set in Kuwait. It's about a girl and her mother, and her mum falls ill, and I think the girl and her mother have quite a tumultuous relationship, but the girl finds herself transported back to her mum's childhood in Kuwait, and I think she's probably going to be following her mum's footsteps and finding more out about her mum's life, and perhaps that will help to bring them closer together. Sandra Mitchell has written a book called Prom, and this is a story of two girls. They want to go to the prom together. It's not allowed, and there is sort of a backlash. It's set in a place in Indiana that's not a great place to be gay. And then this is also about two Broadway stars who are struggling to get people to come and see their shows, or everything's bombing a bit, and they hear about these two girls' plight to go to prom together. They decide to put on this prom and sort of insert themselves in these girls' life, and perhaps not for the right reasons, and perhaps not for the people who actually wanted it in the first place. And I'm sure that this will be a bit more of a commentary on you know, wanting to do the right thing but maybe for the wrong reasons. So I look forward to seeing what I think of this one. I heard about this one recently. Frances Hardinge's Lie Tree I quite enjoyed. I didn't love, but I didn't hate. I quite enjoyed it, and I didn't really ever think to go to her back catalogue. I haven't necessarily been drawn in by the newer releases that have come out, but I heard about this one and it just sounds brilliant. It's called Faces Like Glass, and this is set in an underground city where people's faces are blank. They don't have any emotions or expressions, and they have to be taught how to show the expressions. They have to pay to be taught and to practice how to show emotion. And then it's also about a girl who has a face that shows emotion, and everything she shows is on her face, and she doesn't have to learn these things. And I'm sure it's going to be all about sort of what that means for her and how she has to hide it, and perhaps there's some secrets and mysteries going on. The final book I want to talk about is one again I picked up at Cheltenham, and it was purely a blurb cover by. I hadn't heard of it before, but it just sounds really great and I love the cover. It's called Liar by Ayelet Gunda Goshen. And this just looks brilliant, doesn't it? Look at this like strawberry ice cream upturned. It's got beautiful French flaps. And this says, Nofar is just an average teenage girl. So average, she's almost invisible. Serving customers ice cream all summer long, she is desperate for some kind of escape. One afternoon, a terrible lie slips from her tongue, and suddenly everyone wants to talk to her. The press, her schoolmates, the boy upstairs, and the only one who knows the truth. Then Nofar meets Raymond, an elderly woman whose best friend has just died. Raymond keeps her friend alive the only way she knows how, by inhabiting her stories. But soon Raymond's lies take on a life of their own. A heart-stopping novel about deception and its consequences, Liar brilliantly explores how far a lie can travel and how much we are willing to believe. And I just think this sounds different and interesting, and I love this idea of this lie and the ripple effect and the consequences it can have on people's lives. So I'm looking forward to reading this one. So that's all the books that I've picked up. I'm now going to pick the winner of my competition, so I will do a random number generator for the comments. Let me get my phone and we can do that now. Okay, so I'm just finding the video on here. Let's see, let's turn down the sound because nobody needs to hear the sound on everything. Right, let's go down to the comments. One, if you can see. Now it's not going to focus. Here we go. Right, let's click generate. 24. Okay, so let's go back and count to 24. At least you all know I can count. Right, 24. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24. Okay, so the person that has won is Sam Bernard. Sam, I will be sending you a message, or you probably would have got it already. I will be sending you a message on the video in your comments saying you've won the competition. And if you're watching this one, please can you contact me via the comments on this video and let me know an email that I can contact you on, and then I will send you out your prize. Well done to Sam. You've won these and they will be coming in the post to you as soon as I can get your address. And thank you anybody else that has taken the time to comment and to subscribe and thumbs up and watch my videos. It really does mean everything to me. And please don't forget, I'm really trying to gather together some subscriber 5-star reads for next year for a little project I'd like to do. So if any of my subscribers have got 5-star reads that they want to recommend that I read, and things that you really think I should get to. As long as I haven't read them already, then I shall be adding them to a list for a little project next year. So make sure you can put them in the comments down below here, and I will make a note of them. Anyway, that's it from me, and I look forward to speaking to you soon. Bye for now, BookTube.